Mushroom, 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 mushroom. So friends, remember when I said that the one thing I would really love to experiment dyeing with was fungi? Yesterday, while my mom and I were on our weekly hiking date, I stumbled upon the Holy Grail. That's right, Dyers Polypore. How do I know for 100% certainty that this is Dyers Polypore, or as I would know it in Dutch, dennenvoetswam? When my mom and I are on our hikes in fall, and yes, fall has fallen, then we do this thing of spotting mushrooms and then identifying them with our cell phones and just trying to get as much species as we can. I know it sounds a little nerdish, it is completely nerdish. But this is how I for 100% know that the specimen I have here on my scales is Dyers Polypore, and when I encountered it, it looked like this. What an absolute magnificent artwork of nature. So as you saw, I only took a small bit and left this artwork for other people to enjoy as well, and also so that the fungus itself is able to grow anew next year. We have right now 100 grams of this fungus, and I am scouring an appropriate amount of wool. I think I have about 200 grams, because I have read several sources that one, you need the exact amount of dye stuff to the exact amount of fiber, and there was another source that said, well, Dyers Polypore actually makes an endless dye bath. So I was like, yeah, I don't know what to mean and what the difference is between those two, so I just doubled it. I am right now scouring it, which is putting it on warm but not boiling water with some soap in it, so that the dye will adhere to it, because dye will not adhere to greasy lanolin fleece. To also not shift the color, I am using a pH neutral hand soap. You could use a pH neutral dish soap as well, but I like the hand soap and the smell of it. Anyway, after this is scoured, we will put it in a mordanting bath with alum. I know that because of the process of editing, scouring and mordanting looks like it only takes a couple of seconds, but it takes quite a while. So I advise you to have another project at hand while doing it, just to kill the time while waiting. I think our flukes are thoroughly scoured and mordanted. Now it is time to prepare our dye. And as some of you have rightfully reprimanded me on using my bare hands on all my dye stuff, I am trying to be a good girl and use some gloves, but the gloves we have are on my husband's size, so extra large, and my hands are extra small. It's going to be awkward. But I'm grateful that you guys are concerned about my health. Now you can dye with the Dyers Polypore in a couple of ways. A lot of people will dye with them dried, some frozen, and I'm going to dye with them fresh, which is also a way you can do it. I'm going to pull the fungus apart, put it in water, and then we'll put it on the heat. Also not boiling, because then our color might turn brown and we want vibrant yellow. Such interesting orange flesh this mushroom has. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Damn, that's only after 5 minutes. Told you this was a Holy Grail. was gonna clean this room, but then I got died. I was gonna shoot another video, but then I got died. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Because I got died, because I got died, because I got died. Okay, so the mushrooms have been extracted of their color for 1.5 hours now. I'm not sure whether everything is out of there. So I might just leave the mushrooms in the dye bath while also adding the wool. I think the chunks are big enough to not get tangled with the wool. Otherwise I will just have to plug them out. Anyway, I'm going to add some of my more than knit wool into the dye bath and see what happens. We are again an hour later. Let's check our wool and maybe see if we can go for a second dye bath. Oh yes! Do you see this? Pretty, pretty, pretty! This dye bath doesn't look entirely exhausted, so let's add some more. As expected, not exhausted. Sweet. Second dye bath is another sunny success. Now I believe there is still some, but not much pigment in the dye bath, but I think it's just about enough to experiment with some color shifting, color changing after baths. What do you think? So in these two are more and less woodish lye, and in this one I have added iron. And here is the entire mushroomy palette that we have created today. Here is our first dye bath, the really ochre golden colored wool, super beautiful. This is I love this. This is such a happy color. This is like, I want my entire wardrobe to be this color. And then over here is the second dye bath, still very sunny, super nice, bright. I mean, for a second dye bath, you could say that yes, Dyers Polypore is an endless dye stuff. That one over there is the one with the iron. I had kind of expected to turn green, but didn't. It's yellow with a grayish undertone, so I mean the iron effects are clearly visible. And then here is the one with the wood ash lye, which is very bright. Like if you think of yellow, very bright yellow, this is it. This is so bright. It's like lemon yellow. I don't know how you'd call it. So bright. I don't want to stand in the sunlight because then you don't see it. But like, amazing. Just that little bit of mushroom, because as you saw, I only picked 100 grams of that mushroom to keep the beautiful natural sculpture intact, but this is what we got from such a tiny amount of mushroom. Like, imagine what we could have gotten if I had more, if I encounter more of this mushroom. Exciting. Yeah, told you. Fungi are such fun guy to dye with. So until I stumble upon another species of mushroom that I can dye with, or maybe another specimen of Dyers Polypore, this is our fungi dyeing experiment up until now. It was exciting. Oh my god, I loved it. Did you enjoy it as well? Let me know. And I've been trying to like Google some other mushrooms to dye with, and I mostly come across North American sources which list mushrooms that are not native to where I live. So I'm asking you, Europeans, or maybe mycologists, what are some other mushroom species that I can find over here that I can dye with? Because I mean, you have seen the results. I want to do this more often, naturally. So help me, resources, names of mushrooms, whatever you know. I want to see it all down in the comments. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm going out of the sun for a little moment to finish off this video. Anyway, I think all that there is left for me to say right now is, if you like these kind of fiber shenanigans, then maybe you could like, comment or subscribe. But of course, that is all up to you. And as for me, I will see you in a next video. Bye!